Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SM's annual Stockholders meeting. As you registered earlier, I hope you were able to secure a copy of our two reports for 2017. The first is the SM Investments Annual Report, where we provide you with your company's operational and financial performance for 2017 and SM's plans for 2018. The other report is our sustainability report. This highlights all the sustainability initiatives that have been taken by SM and its subsidiaries. At this point, allow me to introduce to you those responsible for setting the course for and the policies of SM. The members of the Board of Directors include the following: Mr. Henry C. Sr., our founder and chairman emeritus. Mr. Jose T. Sho, our chairman. Ms. Teresita C. Cosson, vice chairperson. Mr. Henry C. Jr., vice chairperson. Mr. Harley C., executive director. Mr. Frederick DeBuncio, president and CEO. Our independent directors, Mr. Joseph Higdon, Ms. Tomasa Lipana, and Mr. Alfredo Pascual. Also on the presidential table is Attorney Elmer Serrano, our corporate secretary. And from senior management, Mr. Franklin Gomez, senior vice president for finance. Allow me also to acknowledge the presence of our advisors to the board, Ms. Elizabeth C., president of SM Hotels and Conventions Corporation. Mr. Hans C., chairman of the executive committee at SM Prime Holdings, Inc. Mr. Herbert C., who spearheads the SM food retail business. Mr. Roberto Manabat. And attorney Serafin Salvador Jr. And allow me to also acknowledge the presence of Mrs. Felicidad C. May I now give the floor to Mr. Jose Sho, who will preside this afternoon's meeting.
The meeting will now come to order. On behalf of the Board of Directors and Management of SM Investment Corporation, I welcome all of you and thank you for your presence at this annual stockholder meeting. The first order of the business is for the Secretary to please certify to the sending of the notice and the existing of a quorum.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Notices of this meeting, together with a definitive information statement of the corporation, were sent beginning March 27, 2018, to stockholders of record as of March 26, 2018, by personal delivery and by mail, as well as published in the Manila Bulletin, the Philippine Star, and the Philippine Daily Inquirer on April 2, 2018. Based on the record of attendance, the stockholders attending this meeting in person and by proxy represent 1,395,747 common shares, constituting 83.27% of the total outstanding capital stock of the corporation as of record date March 26, 2018. Mr. Chairman, I therefore certify that a quorum is present for the transaction of business by the stockholders. Mr. Chairman, we would also like to announce to the stockholders that Sisip Gores and Belayo, or SGV, the corporation's external auditor, is present and has been engaged to tally the votes cast in this meeting.
The next order of the business is the approval of the minutes of the annual stockholder meeting held last April 26, 2017. Mr. Secretary, have the stockholder been furnished with copies of the minutes of the meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I confirm that copies of the minutes of the stockholders meeting held last April 26, 2017 were furnished by being attached to the definitive information statement to all shareholders.
The floor is now open for a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of the stockholder held last April 26, 2017.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the minutes of the meeting of the last stockholders meeting held on April 26, 2017 be approved and that all unqualified votes be cast in favor of said approval.
Mr. Chair, I second the motion.
Is there any objection? There being no objection, the motion is carried and the minutes of the meeting of the stockholder held last April 26, 2017 are hereby approved. The next order of the business is the presentation of the President Annual Report. May I call on our President, Mr. Frederick de Boncio, to deliver the 2017 Annual Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. 2017 was a good year for SM Investments Corporation. The Philippines was one of the fastest growing economies in the Southeast Asian region, with GDP growth of 6.7%, supported by government spending and strong consumer sentiment, as well as steady overseas Filipino remittances. This sustained growth continued to buoy confidence in our core businesses in retail, banking, and property development. 2017 was also a milestone year for SM, as we reached a 1 trillion peso market capitalization on August 16, 2017. This followed SM Prime's historic feat of being the first company to do so at the close of trading on June 9, 2017 at the Philippine Stock Exchange. Looking at our results, SM's net earnings rose 6% to 32.9 billion pesos in 2017. Revenues also increased 9% to 396.1 billion. This performance reflected a strong growth in property and a solid performance of banking and retail. In terms of earnings contribution, SM Prime contributed 40% of total earnings, while our banks, BDO Unibank and China Banking Corporation, contributed 38%. Meanwhile, our retail group, SM Retail, contributed 22%, driven by particularly strong underlying results and high margin growth from specialty retailing. Our retail business under SM Retail delivered total revenue growth of 7% to 297.4 billion pesos. Net income stood at 10.4 billion, supported by strong consumption from consumers with higher disposable income and increased market penetration from the aggressive expansion of our specialty and mid-sized stores and mini-mart format. Under our department store business with the SM Store, we opened 2 new stores in Cagayan de Oro and Puerto Princesa, bringing our total gross selling area to about 760,000 square meters. In food retail, we expanded all our formats in both urban and provincial communities across the country, with particular focus on mid-size and small format stores. We opened 42 food stores and also 138 Alpha Mart mini-marts. 80% of store openings were outside of Metro Manila. Our specialty retail chains opened an additional 159 stores during the year, expanding their footprint by 9%. In 2017, we added Japanese-designed variety store chain Miniso to our specialty brands, which bolstered performance of the business. This business has proved very attractive with high consumer interest. In property, SM Prime delivered recurring net income growth of 16% to 27.6 billion pesos. Consolidated revenues increased by 14% to 90.9 billion, primarily driven by increased mall revenues and strong sales of residential units. In terms of revenue contribution, the malls and rental business accounted for the lion's share of 58%, with 33% from residential and 9% from other business segments. Our property footprint in 2017 consisted of 67 malls in the Philippines and 7 in China, 49 residential projects, 7 office buildings, 6 hotels, 4 convention centers, and 3 mega trade halls. We also opened 7 malls in 2017 in key cities in the provinces, specifically SM CDO Downtown Premier in Cagayan de Oro, SM City Puerto Princesa in Palawan, SM Cherry in Antipolo, SM Center Tuguegarao Downtown, SM Pulilan in Bulacan, and SM Center Lemery in Batangas. Right next door to here, as part of our Conrad Hotel building, is also the well-curated Esmoson, launched in 2017. Inside this mall are unique dining and retail establishments that redefine the typical concept of an SM mall. In 2017, BDO and China Bank completed stock rights offerings which raised fresh equity for expansion and to ensure strong balance sheets and capital ratios. BDO raised $60 billion in January, and China Bank raised $15 billion in May 2017. SMIC participated in its full pro rata amount in both. On the back of this, our banks, BDO and China Bank, both delivered exceptional growth in 2017. BDO posted all-time high net income of 28.1 billion pesos, up 7%. Net interest income for BDO rose by 25% to 81.8 billion. Its loan books grew 18% to 1.8 trillion, while deposits increased 11% to 2.1 trillion pesos. BDO is the country's largest bank with 1,180 branches and 4,022 ATMs. But it is also highly prudent and very well capitalized. Capital adequacy ratio stood at 14.5%. Its non-performing loans last year held steady at a low 1.2%, with its provisions at 146.2% of NPLs. Meanwhile, China Bank registered a consolidated net income of 7.5 billion pesos, 16% higher year-on-year on sustained growth across all business segments. China Bank's net interest income grew 18% to 20 billion, while gross customer loans increased 17% to 453.9 billion due to strong demand across its business segments. Total deposits increased 17% to 635 billion due to network expansion. In our equity investments portfolio, we made 2 significant acquisitions in the past year. SMIC acquired an effective 30% stake in leading Philippine end-to-end logistics company To Go Group, and 61% in dormitory firm Philippine Urban Living Solutions, the developer of the MyTown brand of modern dormitories. These companies offer significant opportunities for growth in emerging high-potential sectors in the Philippines. They are both market leaders and benefit from significant synergies with the rest of the SM Group. We intend to support their growth and to continue to look for similar relevant partners in high-growth sectors. Our solid growth in 2017 came hand in hand with our equally firm commitment to sustainability and good governance. Our many milestones in sustainability are shared in our 4th group-wide sustainability report. This year, SMIC's report received a stamp of approval from the prestigious Global Reporting Initiative for its adherence to materiality disclosure standards. We continue to align our corporate social responsibility and sustainability programs with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations. We focus our efforts in 4 areas, namely education, health and wellness, zero hunger through farmers' trainings, and environmental sustainability. Last year, through the support of SM, more than 3,800 college and technical vocational scholars achieved their dream of completing their education. With the remarkable impact of the Tech Voc program, SM Foundation doubled its scholarship grants to 2,000 in 2018. The Philippines has one of the highest risks from the adverse effects of climate change. SM Prime continues to take the leadership role in UNISDR's Private Sector Alliance for Disaster Resilient Societies, better known as UNARISE, encouraging private and public sector collaboration to build resilient communities and businesses. BDO has taken the lead in green financing, launching the country's first $150 million green bonds with the International Finance Corporation. Through the Sustainability Energy Finance Program, BDO expanded its portfolio to raise awareness and finance for renewable energy and energy efficiency projects. The projects it funded resulted in significant green benefits of over 636,000 tons of CO2 emissions avoided per year, equivalent to 136,000 fewer passenger vehicles or over 16 million seedlings grown for 10 years. Among the many projects featured in our report under this program are a rice husk-fired power plant in Nueva Ecija, the wind farm in Pililla, Rizal, and a solar farm in Calatagan. In the pipeline are also renewable energy projects with a capacity of over 485 megawatts. Looking ahead, SM will continue to find opportunities to create growth and value. The government's focus on spurring provincial growth and the momentum at which infrastructure, agriculture, and tourism development is pursued gives fuel to our expansion plans. Our core businesses continue to be market leaders with great potential for synergies as we strive to address the needs of underserved communities nationwide. In retail, our diverse operations places us in a strong position to bring a wide assortment of brands and products to all the communities we serve. In banking, we are present in all segments and products, and we will continue to build our presence across the country to serve the evolving needs of customers. In property, we will maintain our focus on integrated developments as we build on synergies of the business and create greater economic value. In addition to our three core businesses, as a parent holding company, SM Investments also has the opportunity to build its portfolio of investments in complementary businesses that will help us capture the high growth of the Philippine economy. We look to invest in partners with leading positions, strong management, and the potential for high growth and attractive yields. 2018 is another milestone year for our brand as we commemorate SM's 60th anniversary since its origins as a small shoe store put up by our founder, Mr. Henry C. Sr., in downtown Manila in 1958. Mr. C's life journey in building SM to what it is today is a testament to the resilience of the Filipino people as well as to his faith and commitment to keep investing in the Philippines no matter what the economic conditions were. As we prepare to celebrate this journey this year, we would also like to thank our employees, customers, business partners, and you, our shareholders, for your unwavering support through the years. Thank you and good day.
Are there any questions on this annual report? If there is no question, the Chair will now entertain the motion to approve the annual report.
Mr. Chair, I move that the annual report be approved and that all unqualified votes be cast in favor of said motion for approval.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
Upon motion duly made and seconded, the annual report is approved. We move on to the next item in the agenda, which is the approval of the amendment of the second article of incorporation of the corporation. Mr. Secretary, could you expound this thing?
Yes, Mr. Chair. The second article of the Articles of Incorporation of the Corporation is being proposed to be amended to include in the corporation's secondary purposes the ability to guarantee obligations of entities in which SMIC has lawful interest. Such amendment will effectively give the corporation better flexibility and leverage in the conduct of its business and transactions taking into consideration its existing contractual obligations.
Mr. Chairman, I move for the approval of the amendment of the second article of the Articles of Incorporation relating to the corporation's ability to guarantee obligations. I further move that all unqualified votes be cast in favor of the approval of the amendment.
I second the motion.
Is there any objection to the motion? There being no objection and the motion having been seconded, the corporation's secondary purpose shall be amended and the second article of incorporation shall be amended to reflect such change. Next order of the business is the ratification of the acts of the Board of Directors, its committees, and management from April 26, 2017 up to the date of this meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I move for the ratification of the acts of the Board of Directors, its committees, and the management from April 26, 2017 up to the date of this meeting, and for all unqualified votes be cast in favor of such approval.
Mr. Chair, I second the motion.
Is there any objection to the motion? There being no objection and the motion having been seconded, the acts of the Board of Directors, its committees, and management during their terms of office are hereby ratified. The next item in the agenda is the election of the directors. In accordance with the corporation bylaws, the Corporation Governance Committee has pre-screened and shortlisted all candidates qualified and nominated to the Board of Directors. We may now ask the Chairman of the Corporate Governance Committee, Mr. Joseph Higdon, to enumerate all nominees qualified to be elected to the Board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pursuant to the Corporation's bylaws, the Corporate Governance Committee pre-screened and qualified for election to the Board of Directors for the year 2018 to 2019 the following nominees: Mr. Joseph T. Schall, Ms. Teresa T. C., Mr. Henry C. Jr., Mr. Harley C., Mr. Frederick DiBuccio, Mr. Joseph Higdon as an independent director, Ms. Tomasita Lapana as an independent director, and Mr. Alfredo Pascual as an independent director.
Mr. Chair, I move that all unqualified votes be cast in favor of the nominees and those nominated be declared elected to the Board.
Mr. Chair, I second the motion.
The motion having been made and duly seconded, all unqualified votes are cast equally in favor of the nominees who are thus declared elected to your Board of Directors for the year 2018-2019. Congratulations to the new Board of Directors for 2018-2019. Let us welcome the elected directors with a warm round of applause. Thank you. The next item in the agenda is the appointment of external auditor. The Audit Committee has accepted nominations for external auditor. The Audit Committee has pre-screened and recommends the current external auditor, Sisib Gores Belayon Company, for reappointment as external auditor. The Chair will now entertain a motion for the approval and the recommendation of the Audit Committee for the reappointment of the Sisib Gores Belayon Company as the Corporation External Auditor for 2018.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of the recommendation to reappoint Sisip Gores Velayo and Company as the company's external auditor for the year 2018 to 2019, and that all unqualified votes be cast in favor of such approval.
Second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Is there any objection? There being no objection, the motion is carried. Sisip Gores Velayo is reappointed external auditor of the corporation for the year 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, we had the regular board meeting earlier today, and I am pleased to announce that your board has approved the declaration of cash dividend amounting to Philippine pesos 9,877 million, or 8 pesos and 20 centavos per share, in favor of all stockholders of record as of May 10, 2018, payable on May 24, 2018. This is equivalent to 30% of the 2017 consolidated net income of SM Investment Corporation.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. I'm Sam Canoa, stockholder of Investment Corporation, also stockholder of BDO and other companies that's part of the SM Group. Mr. Chairman, even though the Bell Corporation in all Asia submits the airport bid for the Sangli Airport, I'm just wondering why SM didn't join the NAIA Super Consortium.
The NAIA has a lot of proponent already, and I think it is our Bell Resources that have been thinking about the Sangli, not the SMIC.
If the government wants to reduce the concession period for Sangli Airport for less than 50 years, will SM or Bell Corporation continue to bid the project?
I think it's something that we'll have to ask the Bell Corporations, because it has its own board and they have their own decisions. As far as SMIC is concerned, we're not in the airport.
Okay. And before I end this, yesterday I read about in the news article that the SM Group receives 2 awards from the Reader's Digest. One is for BDO for being one of the gold awardee and in the finance category, while SM received the platinum awards for all categories. So everyone, please give them a round of applause, please. Thank you.
I thought you are going to ask a question. Thank you for bringing that item.
I just read on the news yesterday. Thank you.
Mr. Secretary, is there any other matter which may be properly taken up by the stockholder meeting?
No, Mr. Chairman, there are no other matters.
There being no other item in the agenda, the Chair will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move that this annual stockholders meeting be adjourned.
Mr. Chair, I second the motion.
The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you for your attendance and good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us today, and have a pleasant afternoon.